Hello and welcome to today's daily news report, as well as ongoing stimulus package information video. If you're a subscribed member of my community, then welcome back. And if you're not, consider subscribing right now so I can keep you up to date on what's going on in Washington, D.C., the next stimulus package, the U.S. economy, money, investing, and much, much more. Okay, I'm going to start that next week. Now, Senator Joe Manchin, who supported the last 3 stimulus checks, is now saying that he will not support a pet project-filled stimulus package from his own party. So he's pushing back in a big way. For months now, Senator Manchin has been saying his biggest concern is creating more inflation when we are already dealing with this, and he's also worried about America losing its competitive advantage by raising corporate tax rates to much higher levels. Manchin said, an overheating economy has imposed a costly inflation tax on every middle and working class American. The $28.7 trillion and growing national debt has hit record levels. Over the past 18 months, we've spent more than $5 trillion. Now Democrat congressional leaders propose to pass the largest single spending bill in history with no regard to rising inflation, crippling debt, or the inevitability of future crises. Ignoring the fiscal consequences of our policy choice will create a disastrous future for the next generation of Americans. Now, Democrat Senator Kristen Sinema has also said she is not willing to support the $3.5 trillion stimulus package price tag. Okay. However, Senator Manchin did give himself a way out and a way to come back to support the bill. He said he would support it after greater clarity, and he would support a smaller price tag. He said, I, for one, won't support a $3.5 trillion bill or anywhere near that level of additional spending without greater clarity about why Congress chooses to ignore the serious effect inflation and debt have on existing government programs. Now, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she isn't worried about getting these vocal House reps and senators to comply with Biden's agenda. So she seems to think these moderates are full of hot air and will eventually fall in line with their party vote. Pelosi might be right, as it only took 24 hours to convince moderates in the House to vote with her to move the $3.5 trillion stimulus package towards the budget reconciliation voting process. So we will see either a Joe versus Joe showdown as Joe Manchin and Joe Biden fight it out over their goals, or we will see one of them bend to the other. So I'll continue to update you on where that goes. Now, the one area Manchin has remained strong is in his refusal to vote to remove the filibuster. But in the case of the next stimulus package and the budget reconciliation voting process, the filibuster will be bypassed so long as all 50 Democrat senators vote yes, and Vice President Kamala Harris provides the tie-breaking vote. Now, if they can get all 50, we know that Vice President Harris will vote for the Biden agenda. That's not even a question. So is this something that we should be worried about? I don't know. Manchin puts up a lot of talking points, but then seems to vote with whatever his party wants. All right, now in the last 72 hours, President Biden laid out new stimulus he wants to see Congress work on. He wants to see more affordable housing options and affordable apartments. He doesn't necessarily want the government to create more Section 8 housing, but housing that people can actually afford to buy. Thanks to Wall Street and hedge funds, first-time home buyers are now forced to compete with billion-dollar firms in order to buy a home. Biden said we must create homes people can buy at their current income, and we must do it quickly. So that will likely be part of the next stimulus package. And for those of you that are still hoping to buy your first home or upgrade, those options hopefully will be coming out in the next stimulus package. All right, now Senator Sanders, who's heading up the group, said he isn't giving up on helping people, and he will get this bill passed. This is what he had to say. People understand that at a time of horrific income and wealth inequality, when half of our people live paycheck to paycheck, that the wealthiest people must pay their fair share of taxes, and that we should use that new revenue to improve the life for middle class and working families. So Sanders has not even blinked an eye at Joe Manchin or the price tag. He says, I am committed to helping the American people. So we'll see if Sanders is able to carry this football into the touchdown. By the way, thank you guys so much for giving these videos a like. I really, really appreciate it. And I just love bringing you guys the news. All right, now the owner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took out a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal to express his frustration and feelings to President Biden. By the way, a full spread ad in the Wall Street Journal is well over $100,000. So this was an expensive love letter to the president, but this is what it had to say. Mr. President, America deserves better. Your impulsive actions, bias, and indecision in your crisis in Afghanistan have caused Americans eternal shame. So he's not too happy with the president and spent over $100,000 of his own money to let the president know. Now, this caught major attention and is trending in the news. All right, there are still hundreds of Americans trapped in Afghanistan. According to the military, things have moved from war and threats over to negotiations at the very highest levels in order to get these Americans out. Now, they're not being called hostages at this point, but the Taliban is making it nearly impossible to get these people out of the country. So I don't know what you call a hostage situation, but that's what's going on. Now, one group trapped that is catching national news attention is a group of 27 students from California. According to reports, these young American students are in hiding and fear for their lives and have no idea how their parents or country are going to get them out of Afghanistan. Now, according to the Defense Department, they are working to figure out how to safely extract these kids, but as of right now, there is no plan set in stone. All the water that the west side of the United States needs just fell on the east side that didn't need additional water. Hurricane Ida now has flooding happening in Philly and also in Chicago. In fact, parts of Chicago got a month's worth of rain in 1 hour. The rivers, the ditches, the irrigation canals simply cannot handle the amount of water flowing because of all the rainfall. With Louisiana still dealing with power outages, this storm has shown the need to pass the infrastructure bill in D.C. quickly so that upgrades to electric grids can begin immediately. Storms across the country are showing the United States needs to invest in energy. Energy is what made America independent, and energy is what made America strong. But over and over again, we're seeing Texas needs help, California needs help, Florida needs help, Louisiana needs help. We need to invest in the electrical infrastructure in order to keep our country safe and strong. All right, now the fight over force continues to fill the news. New York wants everyone and has mandated all businesses to act as checkpoints to check people's papers. Many are protesting and telling businesses they will buy online or go somewhere else. It is starting to hurt these small businesses in New York. Then on the flip side, In Florida, the governor passed a law where if any business asks to see your passport or papers, that business will be fined $5,000. This is going to be extremely expensive for the city of Chicago if it goes through. And I'm not sure if I would want a different adult stranger picking my kid up to go to and from school every day. I don't know. Maybe let me know your thoughts in the comments. Should strangers in Lyft and Uber cars be picking up your young children morning and night in order to get them to and from school? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. All right, now I'm happy to let you know that the Wisconsin School Board I told you about yesterday that rejected federal funding to feed kids free lunch has had a change of heart and will now accept the money. Now, I'm sure it had nothing to do with hundreds of complaints and internet shaming saying to take advantage of that and feed the children. I'm sure it just had to do with a change of heart. All right, now Generation Z is either about to become very, very rich or stunted financially for the rest of their life. A new report shows that Generation Z is more interested in the stock market than any other generation. The only problem is they are young and don't have much money. So they are turning to debt in order to try to build assets in Wall Street's stock market. Many are taking out loans from family members and friends, getting lines of credit, or using their credit cards in order to get cash advances to buy crypto or stocks in the hope of striking it rich and retiring early. You guys, this is not how the stock market works, okay? My gut tells me that this will not end well for Generation Z, as the stock market is very up and down. I cannot recommend to anybody in my community that you go into debt in order to invest in Wall Street. Unless you have a plan that is safe and backed by real assets, and the amount you will earn outweighs the amount you will pay, it's not a good idea. So be very, very careful going into debt in order to become an investor. Now, right now, the stock market is booming, but this has been a crazy year of comebacks, and you should not assume that every year going forward will be this good. All right, now, yesterday I told you about the new jobs report and how it was a big miss. Well, an update came out today, and it's even worse than what I told you yesterday. Analysts expected 725,000 new jobs and only got 235,000. So it's a huge disparity, a huge chasm in where they wanted to be versus where they are. Likely, there is fear around these cases rising. Is the economy overheated right now? We're dealing with inflation. So the hiring is not happening as quickly as was expected. Now, some are worried that we are going to see major stagflation as things normalize, except in the realm of inflation. Many suppliers are saying that based on demand, they are getting further and further behind in product delivery. So meaning the wholesalers aren't able to get products to the vendors as quickly as they normally would. And so they're raising prices in order to slow down the demand, right? So inflation coupled with supply and demand issues is going to make things become even more expensive. Meanwhile, the company Walmart announced that they are going to give their 565,000 employees a raise of $1 or more starting very soon in order to retain staff heading into the holiday season. So if you work at Walmart, you're about to get a raise. May not be the amount you want, but it is a raise. And likely other retail businesses will follow Walmart's trend. All right, now this is my update for today. As I know more, I will definitely come on and share more. Before you go, do make sure to sign up for the giveaway that Casey and I are doing. We're giving away $10,000 in cash to be helpful to people in our community. 3 of you are going to win $1,000. 20 of you are going to win $200, and 30 of you will win $100 in cash to help you out with food or bills or whatever it might be. So we're excited to give that money away. I'll make sure to leave a link below in the first comment, and you can go enter your name and email. You can sign up every single day, and it only takes about 20 seconds. Now, before you go, I want to remind you that you are amazing. I appreciate you being in my community. Have a great weekend, as I likely won't come on again until next week unless there's something major breaking. I appreciate you being in my community, and I'll see you on the next video.